Hello everyone, and welcome to the Jewelry Pirate channel. This is Barbara. I'm here today doing the long-awaited restringing of a bracelet. Taking it from stretch to putting it on wire. I'm probably going to do this in 2 videos. Even though it is a very short process, I want to explain in this video what I'm going to use and what you're going to need, and explain what the use of each one of those are, where they can be gotten. This video is not sponsored by anybody. These are all things that I've bought on my own from many different places, and I will explain to you where you can get a lot of that stuff. I mean, if you're a person that's going to end up doing a lot of jewelry, you might want to turn around and buy from somebody that you can buy it in bulk. Not necessarily thousands, but instead of buying a package of 10, you can get a package of 100 of certain things. And also, a lot of the stuff that we use, which I'm going to explain, comes in a lot of different colors. And mostly if you go to your local craft store, like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever, you can usually pick up what you need. But it's, unless you have a coupon or it's on sale, it's going to be cheaper to turn around and buy it offline. So this is just some of my suggestions to you. All right, so first thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about tools. I have different tools here, and I have, these are curved nose pliers. All right, these are good for getting into smaller spaces. I like to use these when I'm doing jump rings, because I can get this little tiny thing into an area where then I can push this up to get the jump ring where I want it to go after I open it. And then we're going to have the same thing, only these are just plain chain nose pliers. And working these two together, you can either use 2 of these or that this is a pair together. Okay, now these are made by Beadalon, which is a very big company, and these are the glitter ones. Like, these handles have looks like glitter, but mine are so used from all the stuff that I've made, you can't see the glitter in them anymore. So you're going to need these pretty much for mostly anything that you're doing with stringing, like here, when you're putting stuff onto a wire. All right, now these are flat nose pliers. As you can see, there's no point, and they're flat and straight across. And what's important about these is that they're smooth inside here, which is very important when you're turning around and using the pliers to close items, because it will not. It's the same thing with these. I prefer to get anything that is smooth on the inside. The grip is not as good, but if you use it to close something, you're going to turn around and get lines and marks on your crimp beads, your crimp covers, even your jump rings. So this is an important thing to have, where they're smooth on the inside. These are by Beadsmith. These are a different company. I'm naming all these different companies where you can write them down and look them up. These are ancient. I bet you, I put these covers on, but I bet you I've had these since I started beading. They're one of the first pairs of pliers that I got, I think, as far as, when I first started out, I was going in to friends' toolboxes and stuff, taking out their tools, and they don't work very well. Like I said, they're going to make marks. Okay, now I didn't bring in flush cutters, but we're going to have to cut some wire here, and these are nippers. Okay, that'll cut the wire for us. These are no longer available as far as I know, but Beadalon has them, Beadsmith has them, and I suggest that you go with one of the better companies because they end up lasting a lot longer. Now, these are not meant to cut through memory wire. They're not meant to cut through regular wire where you're doing wire jewelry. You know, memory wires, the rings that stay, you know, in one shape. There's special pliers for those. You use these here on that kind of a wire once. These will no longer cut. If you use it on regular wire where you're making things out of wire, like earrings and things like that, these will last, if you're doing a lot, a week or two, because you're going to end up ruining the edge. It's just like scissors. You know what not to and what to cut with your scissors. It's the same thing with nippers. Okay, these ones here were made by Martha Stewart. And I was at one point teaching classes. When they discontinued these, I bought a few pairs of each. So in case somebody came into class and they didn't have any tools, I would have tools for them. Now these are not the best quality, but they get the job done. You gotta push these things in here and make sure that they stay. Okay. Now the one thing that we're gonna use in this is gonna be a crimp tool. This is made by Beadalon, and there's two sizes of this. I think this one here is the one I have here. No, these are the same. This is the regular size. You have two different places that you're going to put your crimp bead in, which I'll explain when we do it. One is going to turn around and put the crimp bead on and keep the wire side by side. And then the other one is going to take and fold that. So that's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they put a crimp bead or a crimp tube on their jewelry, is that they don't do it properly by having the wires side by side and making a separate tube for each one and then lay them on top of one another. If people would do that, their jewelry wouldn't fall apart. I always go one step further, and I put a dot of glue on that and then a crimp cover over, because I like my jewelry to look really nice. Okay? So those are the main tools, and if we do some other different things, those are just the tools. I will show you other tools because there's other kinds of pliers and stuff that you will use. Now, also in this, we're going to need wire. Now, these are glass beads. They're not real heavy, but this is going to be a small bracelet, so we can use the 7-strand wire. And we're going to use silver. And this was 75 feet when it started out. These go up to, what this means, 7-strand, is that this is stainless steel wire in here. And there's 7 strands, and they're put together. And it's coated with nylon. Nylon coated stainless steel. So it's like when they make a bridge and they have the big long cables. That's made of many, 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 many individual little cables. That's what this is. Now, the higher this number is, the larger and the better the flexibility. Don't let anybody tell you to use Oh, good grief. I'm trying to think what the name of it is right now. It's been so long since I've used it. It'll come to me. But this is what you need. You need flexible beading wire. Because if you don't use flexible type of beading wire, you will get kinks in your jewelry. And then it'll never lay right on your neck, on your wrist, on your ankle. So this is very important. Now, something like this, I haven't bought wire in such a long time because I have such a mass amount of it that I am not totally positive what this runs. I would imagine it's probably $10, but you get a lot. I mean, 75 feet is a lot. And then there's 100 feet, and you can, I'm trying to think what that wire's called. But anyway, so this will come in, also, it'll come in a lot of different colors. It comes in a satin silver. It comes in a gold satin color. There's bronze, there's copper, and it's all the same. Now, some of that you might find locally, but most of the different colors you're going to have to get at mail order. I know Amazon has some stuff. I prefer to deal with, and again, this is not sponsored, to deal with Fire Mountain Gems because I know what I'm getting when I order from them, and everything that they have is guaranteed. So if you get something and say you order beads and they're supposed to be certain grade and they come through and I've called them up and they've just turned around and taken it off my bill and I send them back. Sometimes they don't even want things back. Sometimes you'll get something that will arrive. Maybe like I ordered cabs once and a couple of them were broken. They just sent me a new bag. They're very good. They deal with the better companies, and you get what you pay for, and the price is very good. The more you buy, and you can mix and match your items, the cheaper the things are. So, like if you order one to something, it comes to one price. Now that's, you can combine everything. It all comes to the number of pieces total that you order, and that's Fire Mountain Gems. So you can call them. You can look them up online, and they have a catalog that they will send you for free. It's a pretty good size. Once you start ordering from them, then they send you a catalog that's about that thick, and that pretty much has everything that's in it. And then there's also a lot of pictures of different kinds of jewelry to give you ideas. All right, so that's your wire. The other thing we're going to talk about, excuse me, is the crimp beads. Now this here, some of the local stores will have it. This is a number 2, all of these. That's the most common that you'll use. Sometimes you'll use, you string more than one wire, and then you'll go to a different size. So that's another, for another time we'll talk about that. But this here has a combination of gold, silver, like an antique copper and an antique silver. So you get a selection in here. Now you can also buy these where they're all different sizes in silver, all different sizes in gold. So I have this because once in a while I do something with copper, and or this is more like and it doesn't really matter a whole lot. I'm anal. If I'm going to use this color crimp cover, I want that color underneath in case, God forbid, something's not right with it. But you can literally, if you're out of a certain color and you're going to put a crimp cover on top of it, you can turn around and just use any color. All right, so that's that. Now, the things that we're going to use for the bracelet, putting it together, which I'm going to show you, this is the clasp that we're going to use. Hope you can see. Here we go. This goes on and this just gets closed. These are great. They last forever. And they're very, very simple and easy to replace. Because if, like when you have a regular lobster claw, it has a loop that you cannot open. You take that loop and you put a jump ring in it and attach it to the bracelet. Or a lot of people turn around and make it where, show you this. This is a boo-boo. This is a big mess what this is. Here's the crimp bead. They turned around and put this lobster claw clasp right on the wire in front of the crimp bead. That's so wrong. First of all, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this wire that's going to cause it to snap eventually. And if they were going to do this, they should have put a jump ring on that and then put the lobster claw clasp on. Because now, in this case here, if this mechanism in the lobster claw clasp breaks, there's really no way to get this clasp off. You can try cutting it with memory wire cutters, but chances are you're going to end up going in and cutting the wire too, because the wire's thin. Then you would put a jump ring in a new clasp. But this is definitely, I brought this out to show you. This was a sample that I made for the store, and we had to go by certain things. So when I bought the materials to do this, this was the way that they wanted it done, not the way that I do it. So this happens to be a choker. Okay, someday I might get to the point where somebody likes this. I'll restring it properly. Okay, so that's the first thing, is our clasp. Then we're going to need some jump rings. All right. I usually try to put doubles, like I have more in here, of each thing, because you never know when you're doing something. Sometimes things pop out of your fingers and they end up on the floor, and there's nothing worse than right at that moment having to spend the time to look on the floor to get your item. If you look in here, you'll see I have doubles of everything that I have up here. And I was going through some things before, and on the mat I found a couple of different ones. Here is the crimp covers. I'll show you these. These are just a nice way of finishing off putting this over the crimp beads. Okay, and then once you get them on, I put a little dab of glue on that bead, that crimp bead, and put these on with the flat nose plier. Now, before we do any of that, I use wire guards. Okay, and that's what these are. Your wire goes in and around, and what this does is when you put your jump ring on here, it takes the pressure off of the wire. And like, if you get something from me, unless it's a beaded, it's all the beading, I like, sometimes I pretty much triple my threading going through where the clasp is. I do this because I don't want your jewelry to fall apart. If you ever want me to restring something for you, I use these. And you'll see when I'm finished how nice it looks. It really looks professional, because you want to do this and you want to do it one time. Now, there's always things that can happen, which I'm sure has happened to you, where you bent over with a necklace on your neck and went to get up and got it caught on something and it broke, and Everything went all over the place. That has nothing to do with the way that the jewelry was put together. That has to do with, I suggest whenever you wear a long necklace, you do a little toggle, like a lanyard knot in the bottom of it, so that you bend over, that doesn't happen. But these here really work to keep your jewelry from coming apart. Very important, okay? And the glues that I have the, this is the metal jewelry, and then my favorite is this, is the ultimate, okay? Now, this is another kind of a crimp, and these you put the wire in and it goes around, and then you crimp it in the middle. These are good if you're doing a fast job. I like to do, like I said, I'm a very anal person when I make jewelry. These I would use if I was probably doing it for myself, because most days I forget to put jewelry on, so the amount of time that I would be wearing a piece of jewelry might be once a year or something. So these would work for me, and they are convenient. Again, these are bead-along. All right, so I think that that's pretty much what the tools are. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just snip this and take all these beads off of this, and then we're going to leave this sitting here, and when we come back we're going to restring this into a bracelet. So this is a customer's and a friend's. I do this. If you're interested in having something done, just contact me. You'll see. I mean, I do a good job on the jewelry. All right, so let me shut this video down, and I will be back in a minute with the stringing of the bracelet.